Hello, YouTube. It's Mahadeva the Thunder Wizard. And I had a last minute change in my schedule. So I figured I'd jump on here real quick before it got too late and I got to go to bed. And I would answer some questions that people have left on the videos. Before I do that, in case you're new to the channel, all of these links are here for you. First and foremost, you want to go here, thunderwizard.com. That's my subscription site. You will get access to thousands of hours of instructional videos, and you can subscribe and unsubscribe whenever you want. Check that out. My books are found at michaelwilliamdenney.com. And you'll see a link for that in the chat and in the description. And also, if you want to learn the most powerful energy practice on the planet, in my opinion, based on my experience, and if you want to have the ability to tap into an energy that is so powerful that masters of it can fight demons with their bare hands, go here to maushan.thunderwizard.com. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the questions. I put them into at least one of them in the title. Did we choose our birth parents? I will get to that question, but before I do, I want to just get caught up with some other questions which I thought were good in the comment sections going back a while. This one is a good one. This was almost 2 weeks ago. And this person says, and responding to an old video of mine, weird, the law of time and space. What is the difference between destiny and, I don't know, something else. And she says, fascinating video. Thank you for your content. I have one question. It's actually multiple questions, it sounds like, but one basic theme. She says, what are your beliefs considering what happens when your soul would reach its destiny or fulfill its soul desire or orlog? What would happen then? Since you talk about how our soul rebirth into new life until we learn what we are supposed to. And what does the old Norse belief say about this? Hope you understand my question. So I responded rather quickly to her question, which perhaps it needed a little more thought by me. So I'm going to try and answer it. The main thing that I responded to was that I got a feeling from this question that she is expecting that like achieving your soul desire or your destiny is like achieving the misinterpretation of enlightenment. And again, enlightenment is not you reach this level and then everything just stops and you're just on this plane. This is a very Western modern concept, and by modern I mean within the past 1500, 2000 years. There was never any idea of enlightenment before about 2000 years ago. In the Western world, it was taken from and developed in the Christian idea of salvation. But even the Buddhist idea, which is kind of a departure from the Vedic Hindu idea. The Buddhist idea is that you achieve enlightenment, and people think that enlightenment is this state that you achieve and it's final and it's sort of like climbing to the top of a mountain, and once you get there you don't have to climb anymore and you just sit there and look around. But this is all, these are all assumptions. So I hear that assumption in this question when she says, what are your beliefs considering what happens when your soul would reach its destiny? What would happen then? And so I responded saying that it's not a one-time deal, that it continues to grow. And anyway, I don't think I really listened to the depth of her question. So, the truth is, I don't know that I can say that I know what happens after. I haven't accomplished it. I didn't go do it and then come back. I'm not a returning ascended master. I'm a human being like you. And trust me, I'm working through all of my challenges and all of that just like everybody else. But I have philosophies that I believe, and I have philosophies, more importantly, that I've applied in my life and they've worked. And that to me is the most important aspect of spirituality. The most important aspect of spirituality is, can you take the ideas, the beliefs that are being presented to you, can you take them and apply them to your physical life and make your physical life better? And if you can't, in my opinion, they're worthless. This is what the majority of religion is. It's just an intellectual belief that, the do's and the don'ts doesn't really have any practical application in your real life. And that's all I care about. So the beliefs I have are beliefs that I have come to that conclusion and said, you know what? This belief doesn't get me anywhere. This belief, I've thought to myself in the past, I think this belief will help me have a better life. And those that have, I've held on to. And the rest of it, just like everybody else, I'm guessing. Even if I've had out-of-body experiences, like I said yesterday, I can't prove any of it. So I'm not going to condescend to you like I'm some kind of walking enlightened being that's condescending to you and staying down here on this planet, but I've achieved it. No, I'm just like you. So, what do I think happens when you reach, if you were to reach your destiny, like it's this final achievement, if you were to live your life fully and completely, and you were to achieve your soul desire completely, you would cease to exist. You would either die or you would phase out of existence, like the Maoshan Taoists believed, that when you got your energy in your body up to a certain level, you would just vibrate and phase completely out of existence. And the only thing that would be left would be your clothes, a pile of hair, and fingernails. That's the legend, is that the one of the ways of achieving they don't call it enlightenment in Taoism. They call it becoming a perfected immortal. That one of the ways to do that is through meditative practice, and when the meditator has achieved that high level, then they literally phase out of this three-dimensional reality, and the only thing that's left is stuff that's dead, which is your hair and your fingernails and your clothes, of course, which aren't you. So if you were to achieve your soul desire, your destiny, like it's this thing you achieved, then you would die. You would die, phase out of existence, whatever. That doesn't seem to happen very often, does it? We've heard stories about it, but it usually isn't what happens. Again, my new hero is the guy, I forget his last name. I forget his name. Anyway, he's the subject of the Netflix documentary, The Alpinist. And he, by the age of 25, had achieved completely inhuman things when it came to climbing mountains solo without any equipment. And when he did that, he and a friend of his climbed a mountain in the winter, and they got to the top and sent everybody emails and pictures. It was one of those rare top of mountains where your cell phone works, and it worked. And he sent everybody, I'm so amazing, I'm so happy, blah blah blah. And then as they rappelled down, there was an avalanche and killed them instantly. So he obviously fulfilled, because there was nothing left for him to accomplish, and it was the only thing that mattered to him. That's an example of somebody achieving their soul desire, and then there's nothing left. So, his way to go out was doing what he loved doing after he'd achieved a great success, and then was killed by an avalanche instantly, and that was it. That's what would happen. You achieve your soul desire in this body, in this lifetime. That's it. You're done. I suppose it could work that somebody could achieve their soul desire, and by the time they're an old man, they can just, like many people, just go to sleep one day and not wake up. You die in your sleep. That's how I want to go. I want to, after I've done everything that I want to do, I want to go surfing, have sex with whatever my next wife will be, and have done some meditation, and then I want to go to sleep and not wake up. That's my idea of a perfect ending to a life, after I've done everything I want. And we'll see if I can pull that off or not. She says, since you talk about how our soul rebirth into new life until we learn what we are supposed to, I'm sure I may have said something like that, but this isn't that. I don't see life as something that you have to learn a lesson. That sounds too much like punishment. You have to learn a lesson, so we're going to put you in the hot box until you learn your lesson. And I'm not saying that there aren't things to be learned, but these are things, if they are things we choose to learn, we choose to learn them. That's my belief. And I'll explain in more detail why I believe so strongly in choice, and why I'm going to say this. If you don't believe that you chose this life, then you cannot achieve enlightenment. If you want freedom from the matrix, freedom from reincarnation, freedom from pain, freedom from this physical life, if you do not believe that you chose your life and you continue to choose your life, then you will not be able to achieve enlightenment. So chew on that for a little bit. We'll come back to it. Then she asked, what does the Old Norse beliefs say about this? I don't know if the Norse had any beliefs about soul desire. They did. And I mean, I'm not an expert in everything Old Norse. I'm not an expert. I haven't read every single myth. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't read. There's a lot of stuff I don't know about. I haven't read it. What I hear in the mythology and in the spirituality is a belief in what I believe, which is to live life like a warrior, to go out and conquer your life, and constantly taking action towards what you want. And again, my favorite saying is, those who die in battle go to Valhalla, because it has nothing to do with how you feel. It doesn't mean that there aren't real risks in life, but that you are willing to die for your greatest happiness. Those are the people that achieve enlightenment. I think that's what they mean by Valhalla. I think that's, anyway, that's obviously, you've heard me say that many, many times over. All right, let's take a look at a couple other questions here. Somebody asks, what make you say that we chose our parents? What makes me think that we chose our parents? So nothing has made me think that. No, nothing has forced me to think that. So I'm not sure that that's an honest question. I'm assuming that is a new person to the channel, that they were drawn to the video because of the title. Maybe I haven't seen them before. Maybe they aren't new, but it looks new to me. And because they're not asking me, can you tell me why? It doesn't sound like they honestly want to know and want me to explain it. It sounds passive aggressive, and it sounds sarcastic. What makes you think that we chose our parents? It sounds like the kind of question, I could be wrong, but it sounds like the kind of question somebody would ask if they didn't like their parents. My other question, when I read that, because people ask those kinds of questions a lot, my other question is, are you telling me that you've never heard that before? that you've never heard, that I'm the first person, the only person that's ever said to you that you chose your birth parents. I suppose you have to hear it somewhere for the first time, but am I really that person, the first person that ever said that to you? I heard it long before I chose to believe it. I remember hearing it, so I didn't make it up. So why do I believe that? You want me to explain why? That goes back to what I was mentioning earlier, which is, if you didn't, assuming, again, my assumption is that the person who says that, what makes you think that we chose our parents? Assuming that that's the feeling behind the question, which it may not be, but if it is, it means you don't like your parents. Listen, my parents weren't the cream of the crop either. And the truth is, of all of the 3 kids my parents had, I'm the only one that survived. The other 2, my brother and my sister, I mean, they did not fare well. Their life is not something I would want to have in terms of their pain and anyway, I won't get into it. But so I understand that sentiment of, how nice it would have been to have had loving, individuated parents that, treated you with unconditional love and empowered you. I mean, I would have loved that. I didn't get that. And yet I firmly believe that I chose my parents. I chose my parents. I chose my narcissistic, abusive older brother. I chose all of the kids that bullied me when I was in school. I don't know, you may not see it in me now, but I was the shortest kid in school. Like wherever I went, I was the shortest kid in school, and I got picked on by everybody. I got picked on, beat up. I mean, I just did not have and then I would go home and get beat up by my brother and harassed by my brother. And then, of course, I had, the family stuff. And, so my childhood was no picnic at all. But I wouldn't be who I am had I not gone through that. So I do believe that I chose it. But here's the question. If you didn't choose your parents, that means that you're a victim. This is why I do not like the whole Gnostic, it's really neo-Gnosticism. The whole Matrix idea of exiting the Matrix is neo-Gnosticism. But the whole Gnostic idea that there are these archons, these false beings of light that want to seduce you, lie to you, and trap you in physical reincarnation. If that's true, then you're doomed. You're doomed. You will never achieve enlightenment. You will never be able to leave that. You will never. If you believe that, if you take pride in believing that, if you take pleasure in believing that, why? I don't know. A lot of people do. A lot of people like to believe that they're victims of false beings of light. I don't know. I guess because it helps them make sense of the understandable feeling that you are this helpless victim in this huge universe. But you can't at the same time, let me put it to you this way, you cannot simultaneously believe in an escape, moksha, liberation, enlightenment, Zen, nirvana. You cannot hold on to that belief and simultaneously believe that there are false beings of light that seek to deceive you and trap you. You can't have both of those beliefs. Because if that's true, that there are false beings of light or the devil or karma or, sin and reincarnation and making mistakes, if all of that makes you reincarnate against your choice, it means that you will never escape, that you can't ever escape. Because you're a victim of circumstance. You don't have any choice in the matter. So if you don't have any choice in the matter, and these archons, these beings that are much more powerful than you are, if they have this ability to present themselves as false beings of light, and you don't have the ability to see through them, and you don't know what the truth is and what isn't, how are you ever going to escape? It's not possible. You'll never escape if you believe that. The good news is, I'm okay that you believe that, because when you die, you'll realize you're wrong. You'll go, oh yeah, now I remember. Oh, that's right. I chose this whole thing. Oh well. So I'm okay with it. I'm not telling you that if you don't buy into my belief that you'll never achieve freedom. You're going to achieve it. Everybody listening to me will achieve it. No two ways about it. Every single being, no matter who you are, you will achieve freedom and enlightenment. It might take you a little longer than some other people, but so what? In the end, it's all just, time is an illusion anyway. So, and again, my how does it serve you? Here's the thing. Here's the important thing. So let me first off say again, I can't prove any of it. I have no idea if it's true or not. I believe that it's true. I feel that it's true. But I came to this conclusion when I was miserable, and I was in my early 20s, and I was absolutely suicidally miserable. And I came to the belief that I chose to believe that I chose everything in my life, and that I chose my parents, that I chose my life, that I chose everything about my life, that I chose it. I came to that belief that I chose everything. And I came to that belief, and I chose to believe that because I had the feeling that if I, instead of complaining about, the horrific garbage that I lived through as a kid, instead of feeling helpless about it, because I did. I mean, I felt like my upbringing, my parents and my childhood had taken away all of my ability to accomplish anything. And I felt completely helpless and powerless. And I wasn't really able to accomplish anything. I wasn't, and so my life was playing out that belief. And so in a desperate attempt to change my life, I said, you know what, I'm going to choose. I'm just going to choose to believe, whether it's true or not. I don't care if it's true or not. I'm going to choose to believe that I chose my birth parents and I chose my life, because if I did that, that means I can choose to make my life better. And I did. And I have been able to. Like I said, of the 3 kids my parents had, I'm the only one that survived. My sister just recently passed away, and she was older than me. I don't mean like, they didn't live. It's just their lives were, not what I would consider to be happy, successful lives. They were victims. And they, and I made the decision when I was 21 or whatever it was that I just wasn't going to be a victim. Now, I struggled for many years, and I had to do a lot of hard work to continue to break through all of that programming. But I proved to myself, and I've continued to prove to myself, that choosing to believe that I can create the life that I want, and that is done through taking bold action. And if I continue to take action towards what I want, that I will continue to improve. So this goes back to the first question, which sounded very, you reach an end point. What happens when you reach your soul desire? Well, the thing is, if you're still alive, your soul desire, there's going to be more. You're always going to want more. You're going to be able to improve. There will always be room to improve your life and make your life better, even when you reach a really happy, wonderful place. Now, my experience is that life doesn't do that. That life is a roller coaster. That you can achieve a lot and be really happy, and then stuff happens. You'll go through a death. You'll go through things that are out of your control. Like for me, the thing that's destroyed my most recent ultimate happiness was this whole COVID pandemic. And as a result of that, I had to leave where I was, and I can't go back until even though they've opened up the borders to tourists, they're not letting anybody in who's not fully vaccinated. So I'm going to have to wait until all of those mandates and all of those things completely go away before I can get on a plane and go to where I want to be. In the meantime, I still believe that I chose what I have now, and that I have the ability to choose to improve that, and I'm going to do that. Meaning I'm going to take that action based on that belief. So again, the belief that you are a victim will absolutely destroy your ability to have a life. There is nothing to be gained. You cannot achieve anything if you believe that you're a victim, and if you buy into the neo-Gnostic idea that there are false beings of light out there trying to keep you from moving on. If you believe that, your life will be shit. You won't have a good life. If you choose to believe, even though your feelings may tell you differently, if you choose to believe that everything I had, I chose, I take full responsibility for it, I don't understand why the hell I did it, what the heck I was thinking, because I'm miserable right now. You might be feeling that. But I choose to believe that I chose it for some reason, and since I chose it, I can continue to choose to make even more choices. Because if I chose to put myself here, I can choose to take myself out of it. But if you didn't choose it, then you'd have no choice. You are stuck. You might as well just sit on your ass and drink beer and smoke weed and watch porn and just let life roll over you, because it will. If you don't live it. For me, the attitude of the warrior is the best. To go at life like, it's going to try and come at you, because it is, it is a force. So you're not wrong, the feeling that you have that there are things in life that can hold you down and push you back. You're right, that is there. That's a resistance built into the game, so that you have to decide, which avenue is the best one for you. Because if there's no danger, then there's no need to play the game. Think of any video game. If it's boring and it's easy, you just sit there and you don't care. But oh my God, if I don't get past this evil Archon and get to the next level, and you work really hard. Life is that way too. It's a participatory sport. Okay, what else? Zeralath asks a good question. He says, if I recall the meaning of Loki correctly as meaning a knot, K-N-O-T, and Frey's expansion undoes them, which is what I just said, that Frey undoes the knots. He says, is there a practice to work with them together? So, I had not heard that about Loki's name. I had heard that Loki means wildfire. The kind of wildfire when lightning strikes and then it creates this wildfire that just goes out of control. That just a little bit of wind hits it. I think Loki is also associated with wind. So when a spark creates a wildfire and then the wind kicks in, it just takes off, has a life of its own, and it destroys everything in its path. But I went, I saw that, and I did a little bit of tiny digging in the internet world, and that's not coming from nowhere. The idea that the name Loki comes from knot, and actually from the word lock. to tangle things up. That's the idea. So I can't say, I don't know what it is. I like the idea of wildfire, but there's at least some reason to believe that Loki might mean to bind up, or to lock down, or to tie up in a knot. So in terms of that question, I don't know, but that part of the question, but asks, is there a practice to work with them together? And yeah, I don't know if there's an existing practice to work with them together, but this is the great thing about having a living spiritual practice. You can create one. I mean, create a ritual, create a practice. There's all kinds of things. So is there a practice? I don't know of one. I don't have one. But there's no reason why you can't make one. So I want to encourage everybody. Again, all the stuff that I'm giving you here, all of this stuff, I am not here trying to create a religion. I'm not trying to give you dogma that you have to do or not do. I'm not a guru who, even though you may think that of me because I force you to ask questions a certain way and share feelings a certain way, and I come down on you for not having the right grammar and all that kind of stuff. What I want for you more than anything else is freedom. I want freedom. If I'm teaching you a practice, I'm going to force you to stay inside, and learn the practice and be disciplined, so that then you can be free. Once you have it and it's yours, then you can do. You don't need me or anybody else to tell you what to do. So those were some of the questions. Let me see. Is that all of them? That was all the questions that I wanted to respond to. Anything come up recently? No. So I am happy to take any questions. It's getting pretty late for me, but if there are any questions, I'll take them. And no. Gosh, is there anybody here? There's 27 people here. Vincent.thunderwizard.com says hello, and you can go to his website, vincent.thunderwizard.com, and you can get a Vedic astrological reading from him. And Zerlath, the guy who asked the question, he is here, so good. Anyway, that was a great question, and I learned something new simply because you said that, because I didn't know that was one of the suspected meanings of Loki's name. And so that's got me thinking about that. Creative Virgo 12. Question. As I resume learning runes and so much more of occult synchronicity. Okay, I don't see the question. And so much more of occult synchronicities are such that is it a projection or symbolic? Can you write that question in a way that's easier to understand? Because I don't know what you're asking me. Runes and so much more of occult. Okay, so that's not part of the question, right? The question is, synchronicities are such that, is it a projection or symbolic? Synchronicities. So you're asking me, are synchronicities a projection or symbolic? Or are they the universe? People, if I happen to look at my, it's only 11:04. I was hoping it would be 11:11. People say, "Oh my God, the clock! I keep seeing 11:11 on the clock, or I keep seeing these numbers." And yeah, but that happens twice a day, every day. I happen to be thinking about this, and then I saw this number that comes on my clock twice a day, every day. Oh my God, it's a symbol. The angels are talking to me. And the truth is, I don't know. Maybe they are. I don't know. They could do whatever they want. I'm not saying that synchronicities aren't real. And I'm also not saying that they are real. The bottom line is that, the truth is that we end up seeing what we look for, and we end up seeing what we unconsciously look for. And we experience them as synchronicities, deja vu, things like that. But this life we live in, this world of Midgard, is a magical place. And again, the whole focus is about what makes your human practical life better. That's all that matters. And if a belief in synchronicities on an objective level helps you have a better life, so much like, again, the main questions you want to ask yourself about any spiritual practice is, am I happier? Am I healthier? Am I more prosperous? Am I more successful? If the answer to those questions is yes, and it's a result of something that you're doing or believing or experiencing, then keep doing it. But, I make fun of the people that, the angels are telling me something because the clock says 11:11. My experience is that a lot of time they're just looking for ways to escape objective reality because they're in a lot of pain. And a lot of people seek after spirituality because they're in a lot of pain. And so they want some guru, some cult leader to come by and take away all of their money and all of their reality so that they feel like somebody's taking care of them. They want to believe in, 11:11 numbers on your clock meaning something. And I'm not going to say that they're not meaningful, but the only thing that matters is that stimulating you and empowering you to live life fully, take full responsibility for your life, and achieve everything that you want. And is it helping you to do that? That's the only thing that matters. So I don't have an answer to your question. It's both and neither all at the same time. What else? Zerlath says, my understanding is Loki is the spirit of traps, nets, and hooks. That makes perfect sense. I equate Loki, again, I'm probably not as educated about it as you are, if I'm being honest. Loki is in the similar energy as Rahu, and Rahu is about your addictions and your obsessions, as well as your positive things, your aspirations and your desires, which can be very helpful. But, it can go either way. And I see Loki in a similar light. And definitely Loki will trap you if you let him, if you have something that can allow you to be trapped. Con men, if somebody cons you out of something, you have to have some kind of greed or selfishness. Otherwise, they have, a confidence man is a man who gains your confidence. And the people who get conned by con men are people who choose to not look at the red flags because of their greed. And that's, the only way you can con somebody is if they're looking to con somebody else. They're looking not to pay their taxes or, get in before people find out or break the law or something so that they can make themselves rich. I have a lot of spare time these days. I was watching another Netflix documentary about art, and that over the years, this one woman conned the whole world with these fake paintings, and the art dealer, and she wasn't an art dealer, she was a curator of a museum. She ended up buying all these things at, rock bottom prices and then turning around and selling them for millions and millions of dollars because she really wanted to believe it was true. And, that was her greed and her ego, all of that. It made me think about how ridiculous it was. If you didn't know that the painting was a fake, you loved it. Then you found out, so it was a copy, or it was done in, somebody else did it to make it look like somebody else. Even though it's still a beautiful painting, it's now worthless because it's not. It's like the whole idea, are you into it for the art or for what, anyway, I'm sorry, I'm going off the line here. All right. Flux Pavilion, honest feeling. I want to use the lucid dream state to talk to my dead grandfathers. Yeah. I've heard people be very successful at doing that. I've had successful experiences doing that. I wish you all the best. I hope that there are tools that my channel can give you to help you accomplish that. Zerlath, honest feeling. I never saw things like 333 until a friend asked me the time a couple years ago. Now it happens occasionally. My experience was deja vu a great deal. It really happens. Okay, so that's an honest experience, to say the least. Vincent.thunderwizard.com, honest feeling. I feel disconnected from my feelings. My therapist always asks me how I feel about different things, and I'm unable to distinguish what I'm feeling exactly. It's frustrating. I completely understand, and I relate. I've had that experience myself. And even though you haven't asked for any advice, I will give you some encouragement and say, keep doing what you're doing. It will get better. And just having that awareness is part of the process. And most people never get to where you are. They never even have the ability to have the awareness because it's too painful. So they shove it down and they want to look good and they try and look good. And, you're actually being brave and honest, and I think it'll pay off for you. Creative Virgo, question. The synchronicities are simply my filter? I'm not saying that. As I said, I'm not taking a stand on what your synchronicities are or aren't. I said they're both and neither, all at the same time. And I don't know, I mean, you may be, let me give you an example of, what it could be, which I'm not saying it is, but let's just say for an example that on an unconscious level, you're ready to move beyond to the next level of whatever. You're ready for growth in your life, expansion. And you feel some inspiration. And you have a strong desire. And your unconscious mind creates synchronicities that you see, that you experience as the universe or the gods or somebody telling you, this is what you're supposed to do, you should go do it. And you go, yes, the universe is, I saw a message from the universe, this is what I'm supposed to do, I'm going to go do it. And you go and do it, and it expands your life and helps you. Who's to say that it wasn't real? I can't say that. The objective reality was that it helped you. Does it mean that it was something? No, it could have been you. You could have been, setting it up, and it could have been exactly what you thought it was. You could have thought that it was your dead grandfather or Odin or something or somebody setting up synchronicities so that you would then take that action which objectively in your life made your life better. And the question is, what difference does it make? Who cares? The only thing that matters is your life is better. That's what the whole thing I've been saying from the beginning. Did we choose our birth parents? I can't prove to you that I chose my parents. But I choose to believe it because by believing that, it forces me to take actions based on being responsible for my life. And it gives me a belief that if I could choose that really horrible childhood, that means I can choose a much better adulthood. I have the power to change my life. And that belief gives me the power to take actions I might not normally take. If people have a victim mentality belief, they will talk themselves out of action. I've seen it. Does it mean that I'm right? No. It means that the belief in having full responsibility and having the ability to choose and create your own reality, it means that belief works. And it'll work for anybody. I have seen in my own life things that seemed completely out of my control. When I was married to my now ex-wife, which was 10 years ago, we split up. When I was married with her, I was miserable and I was in a lot of pain. My left knee was the size of a basketball. I could barely walk. I had so much tendonitis that I would not have been able to pick this up or, open up a bottle of anything. I was in so much pain. And I was told, doctors were saying, oh, you did this and you've damaged your tendons and that, and you're just going to be in pain. You're getting old. I was 49. And had I chose to believe what they told me, I don't know where I'd be. I might be dead. I might be, walking around with a cane or in a wheelchair. And I just simply chose to believe. I got frustrated and angry, and I said, I refuse to be unwell. And I then went back to reading the books about TMS. You guys can go look it up. Tension myositis syndrome, which, says that you can go read and find out for yourself. But the bottom line is that I had to take full responsibility for my emotional state of being and the effect that it has on my body. I am now, because I had such a revolutionary change in my health. All of that pain went complete. I was afraid to turn my head because my whole neck would lock up on me. I was afraid to bend over and pick things up because I was afraid my back would go into spasm. And it did. I don't have any of those problems now. I go to the gym and I do stuff that I would have never even thought to do back then. And I'm 10 years older now. So I've proven to myself that the choice to believe that I have the power to change my life, while at the same time, it's not just that I'm just denying things. I'm also fully aware that I have to be fully conscious of all of my thoughts and my feelings, because if I'm not, and I stuff feelings down, they're going to get stuck in my body. I've had some pain right here, some tendonitis right here in my arm, and it started coming on about a month before I had to leave Australia. I knew I had to leave. And it just slowly started happening, and then it was really painful. And then it was really painful throughout the whole flight over to the U.S. and when I first got here, it was really, really painful. And I powered through it. And I said, I knew basically what it was about. And then one day, I tried to figure out what it was, and I realized that's where I felt it the most when I picked up a suitcase, which is what I was doing. I was traveling. And so then I went, oh. And so I went, I would take walks and I would just imagine that I was carrying a suitcase, and, that would stimulate that muscle right there. And then all of a sudden, all the tears start flowing. And then I start having all the, crying over the fact that I had to leave my fantasy life. And so it's obvious, my body created a symbol for the pain I was unable to feel at the time because I had to get on a plane and go someplace else. And now I'm still working through it and it's almost gone, but it's still lingering. I'm obviously still working on some unresolved unconscious stuff. But I could have just decided to say, oh yeah, this is now I have tendonitis here, there must be something wrong with my nerves. It's not. It's completely emotionally driven, it's psychosomatic, and I can choose to continue to heal it. I can choose to be 100% healthy, take full responsibility for my feelings, and take action for what I want. It's worked for me my whole life. What else? Nothing else? No more questions? All right then. So I guess we're done for the day. So that's it for today. Hope you guys are doing well. And I wish you all the best. Stay safe. If you haven't gotten Omicron yet, hopefully, I don't wish that on you, but there's a very good chance you will. Make sure that you are taking all the stuff you need to take to keep yourself healthy. If you want to figure out where that is, you can go to covid19criticalcare.com. That's the word covid19criticalcare.com, and click around and find out what the protocols are for keeping your body safe so that you won't have any negative, really bad COVID. And I think we'll be done with this COVID nonsense fairly quickly. I think we're going to reach herd immunity, and unless the evil corporatocracy has some new plan to destroy us, we should be able to walk away from this thing. All right, that's my wish for you. May you all have happiness. And let's see, a couple other things popped up here. Creative Virgo, honest feeling. I hope it is, but you hope it's an honest feeling. I felt much better when considering the life choices. I saw Dad struggling with pool closing. I don't know what that means. In my mind, thought you can continue to be a poo head or offer help. Okay. Thank you for sharing your feeling. Luis, honest feeling. Your words can either... Okay, so Luis, welcome to my channel. Are you new to my channel? Welcome. I hope that you find everything that you're looking for. So an honest feeling is I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm happy, I'm confused. Having an opinion, people mistake that. They say, my honest feeling is that Jesus is Lord. No, that's an opinion. My honest feeling is that the present government, that's an opinion. That's not an honest feeling. You have a very strong opinion and there's feelings around that, but that's not a feeling. So Luis, what you're writing there isn't a feeling, it's an opinion. You say, your words can either speak life or your words can speak death. You're lecturing us. That's not a feeling. And I know it's confusing. So from now on, please feel free to write an actual feeling. But lecturing us, giving us an opinion. I lecture and give opinions all the time, but that's what my channel's about. You want to do that on your own channel, go ahead. You want to leave an honest feeling, get to the feelings. I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm happy, I'm confused, I'm scared, I'm inspired, those are feelings. The reason why I ask you to share honest feelings is so that you can be in a state of neuroplasticity. You're not, once you have an opinion, you're locked into something. And I want to create a space where people can stay open so that the universe can affect you and change you. So, let's see. Let me get rid of the spam. And then Vincent has an honest feeling here. Vincent.thunderwizard.com. Honest. Hang on a sec. It's got hidden. Honest feeling. I'm happy that people are standing up against the mandates. It gives me hope for humanity. Okay. Yep. I understand that feeling too. All right. Okay, guys, that's it. I hope you're doing well. I hope you have a great evening wherever you are. And I will see you guys all very soon. Take care.